it was a good time. So
Cool. I think that Sweetwater's going to have to give you a raise after today. Okay, I throw that in there before I lose thought. That's great. That's the stuff that I know I wanted to hear because I wonder about the whole switching back and forth pedals thing since I don't know. But what I want to touch on is people are asking us all the time, where's a good flight school? Where can I get instrument training? You know, who's got examiners available? So since you're here, and I know double I's are hard to find, number one. Double I's are hard to find. And then finding a double I somewhere where you can go find him and fly with him that's not on a 7 and 7 EMS schedule or some other weird schedule, and flying and having an aircraft that's a trainer, and then having an examiner available. So someone could come to you in Fort Wayne and get instrument training, instrument and double I training in the Cabri.
yes.
Awesome.
Tell
us more.
Yeah, Kenny's exactly right. When I was going through my instrument training, it was difficult to find a helicopter double I. And when I found one, of course, he had a full-time job. I had my full-time job. The aircraft had to be available. Plus, we were battling weather and, Indiana weather. So it was hard to find, the time to get all to sync up just right. And actually, I took my written test for the instrument, and when I finally finished, I actually had to go out to St. Louis and fly a 44, and I was out there for a week to finish up because my written test was going to expire that month if I didn't get it done. So it took me a whole 24 months from the time I took my test until I actually got the instrument rating was just 24 months. It was a very long process of trying to get the training done. But Kenny's right. There's not a lot of CFIIs for helicopters, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do it, because you can't find one. And I went to Indianapolis and flew with Tannen to get mine. And so as far as I know, I'm sure there's others, but guys that are actually practicing it, it's hard to find. So Tannen's the only one I know down in Indianapolis. I'm not sure if Chicago-based area over there, if they have anybody. I don't know.
I don't even know either.
But yeah, so that's one of the reasons why I got it was just and honestly, it looks good on the resume, and we do have Sweet Aviation. The Guimbal does provide us to do that training, and we do occasionally have guys that call up and say, hey, I want to get my instrument add-on, or hey, I want to get my instrument helicopter, and yes, we're able to provide that service.
Well, I think that's awesome. I wanted to plug that because of it being a problem. And you ask about not only flight schools, but reputable. So I'm personally going to vouch for Chris Hauser. We did all of his ratings together, and now, if say, hey, can you come down and fly this weekend with a guy in the Instrom, and he goes around this thing and he finds one thing that doesn't look even a little bit out of place, trust me, he bounces me about it. So if you're looking for quality instruction, wanting to fly the Cabri and looking for instrument instruction in the Midwest, there you go. Contact Chris Hauser at Sweet Aviation, because again, this is a service that is hard to find, and I'll personally vouch for him as you're going to get some awesome instruction. So with all that being said, before we go, because this is turning into pretty long coffee with Kenny, which is awesome. It's awesome that you're here after everything that we've been through in the last 10 years. So we've been talking about struggles a lot in the past couple weeks during Coffee with Kenny. We've been talking about people flying and getting their career started in their 40s and their 50s and their 60s and even 70s. So along that line, you've had one career, you're now moving to another career. So just talk a little bit about someone who is going through the struggles, as we all have. Everybody has a struggle. You had yours too. Anything you'd like to share with somebody watching, that whether they're just starting out, or they've been working on their private for 4 years, or they've been going for the CFI for 6 years and they're struggling to get there and they still want that dream, or they're thinking about leaving their job to fly full time, but they're not quite ready yet. You got those work-life balances. Any advice you'd want to share with someone with your struggles, and anything you just would like to talk about?
Just do it. Does that work?
Yeah, it could be very simple. It doesn't have to be long and drawn out. It can be very simple.
I think my situation was maybe a little bit unique because I've been flying, 10, 11 years now, helicopters for 10 years, and the goal was always to fly full time. That was my goal. However, I was at the police department. I was trying to stay there and work toward, a 20-year pension and all that. So I was kind of having drawback. Plus, I have kids, and they're in this area, and I don't really want to leave the area yet until my youngest is up and gone out on her own. So I think, I've got a couple things here right now, just my kids. But I think for a person who is just starting out and really wants to do it, I think the opportunities are out there. You have to be willing to, I guess, maybe, if you want to say, get out of your comfort zone, or maybe, a guy who's single, early 20s, and wants that dream job, then you're going to have to be willing to go chase it. I see jobs all the time, 300 hours. We need a flight instructor. All you need is 300 hours, but, it's in Florida, or it's in Myrtle Beach, or it's in Las Vegas, or it's in California. And for me, that just didn't work because my kids were here. But for a young guy just starting off, heck yeah, go after that. For me, now that I start, as you mentioned, as a second career, I think I kind of got lucky a little bit because I was able to, I'm building my time slowly, but now it's, now full time. So I think the opportunity is right now for me. The other thing is go out and fly what you can. You used to have a name for me. I don't think I want to say it on air.
Yeah. You say it. Go ahead. What do I call you?
You used to call me a helicopter whore.
Exactly.
Because if I wanted, I'm all about experience. I can proudly say that I've probably got 18, 19, 20 different makes and models that I've got my hands on and gotten at least a handful of hours in, anywhere between the Robinsons to MD 500 to a 109 to the 130s to the 120s, Hiller, piston Hiller, turbine Hiller, FH 1100, Brantley. I can't even think of this. Bell 206s, whatever else is out there. But I remember I found an MD 500 that was a 5-hour drive one day, and I said, you know what? I called him up and I said, hey, if I make it up there, can I get a couple hours in it? And he's like, yeah, sure. So I drove 5 hours, got up early, got up there and flew and got 3 or 4 hours in it, and then drove home. 5 hours, 10 hours on the road to get 4 hours of helicopter time. But it was important to me. It was something that I wanted to do. So, don't limit yourself to just one aircraft or just one training. Go out there and get some other hours and some other machines. And to build time, if you know somebody, or if you, what am I trying to say? Just, like I would get lucky and I would be able to fly for the PD, so I built a little bit of turbine time in there. But, don't be afraid. If there's a guy at your local airport that's got a helicopter, don't be afraid to say, hey, can I go up with you sometime, and I'll buy fuel, I'll buy you lunch, I'll buy whatever, just to get the experience in there.